Today's discussion of my topic is pledge or pawn. So the definition is given under section 172 of the Indian Contract Act. It lays down that a pledge is a bailment of a goods as security for payment of a debt or for a promise to be performed is called a pledge. A person is like a bailment. The bailer is called here is a pledger or the pawner, and the bailee or the pledgee or the pownee. So the terminology is changed here. In case of a bailment, bailer is called as a pledger, and bailee here it is called as a pownee. So the bailer like a bailment, pledge is a special kind of a bailment. So the definition itself is given that goods for the security of a payment of a debt. So this goods is also again it is a movable goods. So the movable goods includes any valuables, any kind of a goods and documents of titles. Example, documents of titles may be of railway receipt, bill of lading, etc. So person who has borrows a rupees 500 from B, and as a security for this rupees 500 he has given his watch to B. So the here B is a pawnee and A is a pawner. So pledger or pawner, that is A, who has given it his watch. So the duty of the bailee, like a bailee, here it is a pawner, or the pledgee's duty is that to take care of the goods. So now after discussion we can differentiate it from the pledge. So the bailment and the pledge distinctions can be made on the following points. First, as to the purpose. In case of a bailment, the purpose is not like what the pledge having. That is, the purpose is different from the pledge here. So in case of a bailment, the purpose is that is like for a given it for repairment or for a safe custody of a goods. But in case of a pledge, the goods will be given it as a security for payment of a loan. That means he has to get a loan from another person, that is a pawnee. So he is giving as a security. The purpose is that he has to obtain a loan by giving as a security of some movable goods. As I have already said, movable goods includes any valuables, documents of titles or any kind of goods. Now second point of distinction is as to the right of sale. In case of a pledge, the pledger has no right to sell the goods. Only he can file a suit for the payment of the debts, but he cannot sell the goods. But in case of a bailment, there is no such restriction. The bailee can also given it a right to sell the goods if it is required as to the transaction itself says that. And the third distinction as to the right of using the goods. Now in case of a pledge, the pledgee has no right to use the goods as of his own, because he can only retain the goods until and unless the payment of the debt has been made. And if he is not paid it, then he can file a suit for recovery of the debt amount. But in case of a bailment, that bailee has also no right to use his goods, but he can retain it unless and until the amount of debt is paid. Now we are coming to the point of what are the rights of the pawnee. The first right is right to retain or right of retainer. So the pawnee has a right to retain the goods unless and until the debt amount is paid at the stipulated time, or until he can file the suit for recovery of the amount debt. Now here the pawnee has also the right not only to the recovery of the amount debt, but he can also retain the goods as long as the interest on the amount of the debt is paid. Second duty is that right of retainer for subsequent advances. So in case of a pledge, the pledgee who has right to retain also for a subsequent advances, that is, suppose pledgee has given it a loan for a subsequent transaction, like after the expiry of the pledge goods has expired, so pledgee can also given it a loan as an advance after the expiry of the pledge, and that too he has a right to retain the goods without any security for the further advances made. So ultimately we can see here that he has not asked any further security. Only on the basis of the first transaction security is given. He has given to the pledger a subsequent amount, so he has also a right for the subsequent advances. Then third right is that right to sue for extraordinary expenses. The pledgee's duty is that he has to take care of the goods as of his own, and if he required any expenses to be incurred for the taking care of the goods pledged by the pawner, he can file a suit for recovery of the extraordinary expenses, and pledger has a right to make the payment of those extraordinary expenses incurred by the pledgee. The next right is that fourth right is the right to sue or sell the goods on default of the pawner. If suppose pawner has not paid the amount debt in time or at the stipulated date, then pawnee has a right to sue or sell the goods after giving a reasonable notice that he has an intention to sell the goods. Now we have to see what are the rights of the pawner. Now here first right is that right to enforce duties of pawner. Now whatever the duties of the pawnee, this is the right of the pawner. So duties of the pawnee is the ultimately rights of the pawner. So the pawner can file a suit for the enforcement of the duties rendered or to be rendered by the pawnee. So after all, for the taking care of the movable goods, the pawnee has a duty to take care of it, and if he is making any default or unauthorized use, then pawner has a right to file a suit for that. And the next right is right to sue for the any accretion he has made or default of the pawner. So the pawner has a right to file a suit on the default or the failure of the taking care of the pawnee's duty, or if any accretion he has been made on it, that then he can file a suit for the right to get the recovery of those goods.